I've taken the last few days to put a lot of thought into what I want this episode to be. Of course, if you're watching this in a playlist after the fact, then hey, you know, whatever. This is just another episode for you, but I appreciate you watching this series up to this point. Clearly, if you've made it this far into the playlist, you've enjoyed the series. For those of you who have been following along as I've been posting these, of course, I've taken a few days because we've reached yet another very important crossroads, a very, call it a fork in the road, call it a crossroads, call it whatever you want. We have a big decision to make. And even as I say this, I still have a couple of different plans I could go with. And I think it's a good thing, honestly, to have this level of uncertainty about what I want to do, because you don't have these decisions to make when you're a terrible team. Obviously, we ended the last episode wondering, what do we do with Alex Galchenyuk? Do we trade him to essentially clear up a spot for Josh Norris to be on the second line? Because, let's face it, you could argue he could contribute right now, very, very soon as later on this season. He will more than likely become a top 6 player. At 21 years old, medium top 6 potential, it is going to happen. So the question is, if we hold on to Galchenyuk, does that make us a better team at the moment? Probably, but are we getting the best out of Josh Norris? Subsequently, would we be getting the best out of someone like Michael Frolik by having him on the fourth line? Now, of course, a lot of people, aren't exactly happy with the way the bottom 6 is. Of course, right now, the way this lineup is set up, Melker Karlsson's the odd man out. But the bottom 6, as I have it set up, we know what we're going to get. It's defensive based, a bit of physical play, especially with someone like McCarron, 4-star physical from Shore and Tierney. I really like that bottom 6 setup, and then if we get any offense out of those players, it's incredible. The team really needs to rely on that top 6 to deliver, and that, of course, raises the question about Galchenyuk, who is coming off a 61-point season. He had 6 points, no goals, though, in the playoffs last year. So it's tough. The big reason why I'm concerned about Galchenyuk is, again, if we keep him and Josh Norris progresses, if Galchenyuk's having a good season, that means more than likely this team could end up looking like this instead, which we honestly could roll with this right now. But then would we be getting the best out of Brendan Gallagher? He had a 59-point season last year, 29 goals, a new career high. So I'd love to keep all of these players. I mean, right now, again, we'd be sacrificing Melker Karlsson, which I'm perfectly okay with. There's no denying that this lineup would be incredible. But, again, if you have Norris or Gallagher on the third line, are we getting the most out of them? And if you look at who would have power play time right now, what forward would have power? Who would be the odd man out? If we play Gallagher, then we have to sit out a defenseman, which might not be the worst thing in the world, but we do have some, offensive, very, very much capable players on the defensive side of things when it comes to offense. So you can see the dilemma. But as I look at this lineup right now, I'm thinking this is the way to go offensively. Although, in fairness, Josh Norris is actually a much better center than Galchenyuk. So while we might not be getting the most out of Brendan Gallagher to start the season, if either one of these two players struggle between Norris and Galchenyuk, Gallagher goes right back to center. And I'd like to think Gallagher, Frolik, and Philip Deneau could actually contribute offensively. So right here, this is the team that we are going to go with to start this season. More than likely, I'll check Melker Karlsson's trade value. I'd love to be able to send him down and have him not regress, just in case. Just in case we decide to get rid of Galchenyuk if he doesn't bounce back. Of course, right now, he's suffering a bit of a morale crisis. Defensively, though, I'm going to make changes. Much like with Josh Norris, Quentin Hughes he's right there. You could argue it might be a little bit too early to hand him that little bit of a more important role, but I'm going to do that. Our top 6 is going to be Nurse, Dumba, Hughes, Juleson. Mete is still going to be on the third pairing. I'm getting rid of Ryan Ellis. And I'm getting rid of Jake Gardiner. And the man I have my sights set on right now is Kevin Shattenkirk from the New York Rangers for that third-line D spot. A true offensive defenseman, a right-handed offensive defenseman. So that first power play, for example, on defense, we could have Quentin Hughes, and we could also have Brendan Gallagher. And that's how he gets into the power play. Again, this is one of many plans that I had in mind. But as I sit here recording this episode right now, I feel like it's the best way to go. So let's go ahead and get this done, shall we? Let's go ahead and get this done. So for now, Galchenyuk stays. The only changes we are making, well, aside from sending Melker Karlsson down, will be trading Ryan Ellis and Jake Gardiner. Now, like I said, there were a couple of players. Well, like I said, I'm going after Kevin Shattenkirk. There were a couple of players who I thought might be decent fits for this team, including Mark, I think it's Pysyk, it could be Pysyk, but decent option. 1 year left on his deal, which kind of worries me a little bit. With the New York Islanders, somebody like Jared Spurgeon. But from the Rangers, I think Kevin Shattenkirk's the right guy for the job here. Again, a solid enough offensive defenseman. He put up 35 points last year, and he's making under $4 million for the next 4 years. That's not too bad. That's not too bad of a deal. It could cause us some trouble in the future, but right now we're still kind of in cup contending mode as long as we have Carey Price. So the main thing I need to think about here from the Rangers is whether or not they have any prospects we'd really want. The problem is they don't have any prospects they want to trade. So it's more than likely just going to be trading for draft picks, although even then, it's a bit of a rough situation as they, of course, are looking to rebuild. So because of that, we will send Ryan Ellis elsewhere just because he has the better value. But let's see if we can get this deal done here. For Jake Gardiner, we'll look to throw extra draft picks into the deal to get this done. I think a second-round pick would be too much. Indeed it would, but you know what? Let's see if we can get this to work. Let's see if we can get this to work. If we throw a fourth-round pick, it's close, though. It is. Gardner and lower picks for Shattenkirk in a second. I'm all right with that. How about a fourth and a sixth-round pick along with Jake Gardiner for Shattenkirk? Not quite. We do have the extra seventh-rounder from Edmonton. Will that be enough to make this deal happen? Yes, it will be. So there you go. Jake Gardiner, along with some lower draft picks, sent to New York for Kevin Shattenkirk and a second-round pick. What I'm sure will be a somewhat controversial move as we get rid of Gardiner. But again, we're not done just yet. And again, I'm sorry, but I need to give Quentin Hughes, I need to give Noah Juleson the chance to shine. They deserve that chance, and we're going to give it to them. Now, as far as where we send Ryan Ellis, well, that's kind of up in the air right now. I'm not sure what team really has prospects we'd like to go for, but we might as well look through each team. And this is something I didn't do. It's something I've been trying to get better at doing, off of the recording. Although immediately, Kip Conklin, former 6th-round pick, 72 overall at 19 years old. That is solid. 72 overall at 19 years old. We will have to remember that because I don't know if we're going to find anybody better than that, to be honest. I mean, you got some guys who are better potential-wise, but already he is a really solid player. We should at least look through just to double-check that there isn't somebody else who's just as good of a fit, although Garlock would be an incredible pickup. Preston Garlock, the playmaker. 20 years old, 75 overall, high top 6. You know what? I think Preston Garlock is the new target from the LA Kings. Garlock is the new target from the LA Kings with that high top 6 potential. Although it's weird, he's listed as a checking forward despite being a playmaker, so you could wonder about his attributes moving forward. Nolan Foote could also be an option. 75 overall at 20 years old, same as Garlock. All right. Be pretty cool to pick up Nolan Foote, though, just for the name value. Again, he was on the Flyers, so I'm thinking Nolan Foote might actually be the new player to go for. Tobias Reeder, Pandolfo, you know what? Problem is, Nolan Foote is Eastern Conference. So for that reason alone, we are going to try to acquire Preston Garlock here. And I think there's a decent enough chance of this happening if we just exchange a few minor picks. I do want a safety net it, though. They might be willing to accept. Maybe not. Maybe not. Straight up? No. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. It's worth checking. It's worth checking. That's all I'm saying. Let's see. So if I just throw a bunch of these prospects we're never going to play into this deal, how likely is that to work? Because we have so many of these players that we are just never going to sign. It's just never going to happen. What if we at least have those two in the deal? And say I give up a 4th round pick from the Rangers? And it's still not that close, apparently. We are going to make this happen. How about a 5th round pick as well? Because I can obviously recoup some picks moving forward. Even a 3rd round pick. I'm all right with that. Even a 3rd round pick? How close are we? Still not that close. Damn! LA. You drive a hard bargain. But we're going to work this deal out. Somehow, some way. Maybe not. You know what? Is there anybody else we can have this work for? Man, our goaltending. Again, goaltending is absolutely a focus this season. It has to be when it comes to scouting. Is there anybody we'd really want to give up here? I don't think there is, to be honest. Yeah, there really isn't anybody that we'd want to give up. So, that 2nd round pick we just acquired from the Rangers could come in handy because now we can give up our own 2nd round pick to try and help make this deal happen. I will tack on a 5th and a 7th just to safety net this. That didn't go through. 5th round pick still didn't go through. How about straight up? Still no. You drive a hard bargain for Preston Garlock, but I am going to make this happen. Yeah, okay, now we're closer. 2nd, 4th, and we'll try the 7th. Maybe it'll have to be a 6th next year. Maybe even a 5th round pick. We shall see. How about the 6th round pick next year? A 2nd, 4th, 6th, and Ryan Ellis for this prospect, Preston Garlock. It's a high price, and actually we're going to have to go for a 5th round pick as well. I'm willing to pay the price to make this happen. Will this go through? Still no. Damn. This is extortion at this point. My God. Will this go through now? Still no. All right. Hey, you know what? You know what? I want to make this happen. 3rd round pick next year. You give us a 5th and a 7th just to kind of even it out. How about just the 5th? How about a 6th rounder next year? Damn it, LA. Let me walk away with something to make me feel like I'm kind of winning this trade. You are ruthless. Absolutely ruthless. How about a 7th rounder, please? Nope. Okay, how about this? Won't even go through, will it? Nope, of course it won't. Wow. The LA Kings are ruthless. But I don't want to sit here and have to look for trades for the next 5 minutes. Will this go through now? Yes, it will. So there you go. They drove a hard bargain. But Preston Garlock has been acquired. So we're going to send him and Melker Karlsson down to the AHL. The defense is set. Of course, someone like Quentin Hughes did drop an overall point, which is fine. We're still going to get him to bounce back, I am sure. So let's take a look here. We will sim, of course, a little bit in this episode. Let's take a look at what this team is going to be. And again, it's a risk to have Gallagher in that slightly reduced role, but I'm willing to give it a try. Again, this team, odds are, is not set in stone. We do need to switch Tierney and Gallagher. We need to switch their position really quick so that the best Lions option works a little bit better. But I'm excited about this team. I'm nervous, obviously, for the reasons I mentioned. We might not be getting the most out of Gallagher on the 3rd line. But we need to see if Galchenyuk can bounce back. If he can, awesome. If he doesn't, then we get rid of him, and the new 2nd line becomes, Norris and Gallagher. So we'll see what happens. I'm still going to make sure Gallagher has that power play time. We know what he's capable of. He put up nearly 30 goals last season. But I also feel like we wouldn't be set up in the best way if Norris didn't have the power play time. I'm not going to spend the entire the 2nd line time. I'm not going to spend the entire episode trying to justify my decisions. What's done is done. I took a look at your feedback. A lot of you guys wanted me to trade Galchenyuk, and that's understandable. And odds are that will still happen in the future. Let's kind of be honest here. But there we go. We go best lines, and it's set up just as we wanted it. Defensively, though, we need to go Hughes and Juleson, Mete, and Shattenkirk. So again, Pacioretty, Drouin, Puljujarvi. So the top six, as you would expect it, and Gallagher. So Pacioretty, Drouin, Puljujarvi, Kapanen, Norris, Galchenyuk. So we need to take out one defenseman. That's probably... I mean, Shattenkirk definitely has the time, so he's the righty. So Shattenkirk's one of our right-handed players, which means Dumba's actually not going to be on the power play, but that might not be devastating for us. I don't think that'll be too bad. At least at the moment, he's not on the power play. So from there, we could have Nurse and Mete, or we could have, no, we'd have Hughes. Yeah, we'd have Hughes and Mete on the power play as well, which honestly I think would work out pretty well. I think this team's going to look good. You never know how it's going to go once you start simming. But if we take a look here, I mean, honestly, does that look bad? To me, not at all. For power play lines, Pacioretty, Drouin, Puljujarvi, Hughes and Gallagher, Galchenyuk, Norris, Kapanen with Mete and Shattenkirk. I think that looks pretty damn good. I don't know. Maybe I'm just way too biased because it's my team and it's set up the way I wanted it, but I think that looks tremendous. And then, of course, we'll take out Darnell Nurse for Quentin Hughes. And then the PK, power play is actually pretty much good to go. Norris, Puljujarvi, Drouin, Pacioretty. I'm okay with that. Actually, I'll put Puljujarvi with Drouin. And then the penalty kill. We have Shore and Gallagher. We'll have Nurse and Dumba. And then it'll be Juleson with... I mean, it's either Mete or Hughes. And right now, Hughes is slightly better. So I'm alright with that. So Hughes, Jules. All right, so yeah, that looks good. That looks good. Shore and Gallagher. Philip Deneau, actually here. Let's go Deneau, Gallagher, Shore, and Tierney. So Frolik doesn't have the PK time right now, which to be honest, I'm going to change that. I'm going to take Shore out for Frolik. And just like that, I think these lines are looking pretty damn good. You could even argue having somebody like Pacioretty or Puljujarvi really should be on the PK. But Frolik, Deneau, Gallagher, and then Tierney to keep him happy. So if the PK struggles, you know, someone like Puljujarvi will immediately be switched to the PK. But for now, I'm liking the looks of it. I'm liking the looks of this team, guys. I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm just trying too hard to convince myself that this team is better than it actually is, but I am feeling pretty damn confident with this setup. And then, of course, down in the AHL, we need to make sure that Garlock and Carlson get into the lineup. So we are going to have quite a few scratched players, but I am okay with that, to be honest. So I'm going to take... What do we want to do here? I mean, it sucks to have to take Tim Bollig out of the lineup, but I have to do it for now. I think. I mean, yeah, because there's really nobody that I want to give up on just yet. So Oscar Mahler is going to be taken out for Melker Karlsson. And Bollig is going to be taken out for Garlock. And let's see, from there, can Garlock play center? Kind of, sort of. We're going to bump Garlock up to the third line. Carlson's on the top line. Of course, we know how good Oscar Mahler can be. But this also sets up the Laval Rocket in a little bit of a better way. So we do have some good players scratched. But of course, I'm sure injuries will be a thing throughout the season. We are good to go. I said we would sim a little bit in this episode. And indeed, we will. I am anxious, to say the least, when it comes to, seeing just how good this team will be. Now, as far as goalie scouting too, I might not focus on it too much, but we're definitely going to select a goalie in the next draft with a high pick. We're going to have to. But for now, we will sim through the first month of the season. Let's try to make our way to November 1st, and hopefully we don't have to deal with too many injuries or anything like that. Losing our first 2 preseason games, that's not a very good look. Losing our first 3 preseason games isn't a very good look. But remember, in real life at least, Colorado went 6-0 in a preseason. And then they had one of the worst seasons in NHL history. So you can't... Wow, see, look at that. 10-3 win. 10-3 win over Detroit. You can't put too much value in the preseason. It's more about the regular season. And we do win our first game of the year, 4-3 in overtime, over the Colorado Avalanche. Can you tell? Like, is it that evident that I am, this anxious when it comes to seeing how this team is going to do this year? Oh my God, am I nervous, because like I said, as Max Pacioretty goes down to a concussion for the first month. So, all right, that changes things immediately. Morgan Geekie is also a 4th-line guy, but again, we didn't get him into the team. Wow. I wasn't expecting that, but what can you do, right? What can you do? Here's the thing about Morgan Geekie. I don't think he's going to be that valuable to us in the long run. So I'm willing to call him up right now, and then it's either we trade him before we send him back down. Oh, God, this sucks, though, because now I have to redo all the special teams units. Damn it. Damn it. Whatever. I got to do what I got to do. It's frustrating, but it is what it is. Anyway, with Morgan Geekie, I don't think he'll be that valuable. I could try to send him back down, see if he clears waivers. I doubt he would. But, yeah, we got different options here. So, with Pacioretty down, Galchenyuk gets bumped up. We're going to go Norris, Gallagher, Kapanen, Frolik, Deneau, and then either Shore or McCarron. Let's give McCarron a chance. He's been here for quite a while. And then we'll have Tierney, Shore, and Morgan Geekie. That's still not terrible. Really. I mean, the top 6 still looks good. And then, of course, defensively, we need to change some things around. Right. So allow me to try and fix this setup. This has turned into a little bit of a disaster. Now, the defense, though, we can run Gallagher at center. So that's nice. So we'll go Nurse Dumba. Actually, we won't. We'll go Mete with Dumba. And then we'll take out Darnell Nurse for Quentin Hughes. Power play, the PK. We'll keep the PK the same. Whatever. It's fine. Yeah, because Gallagher doesn't need that extra time now. So we're good. The power play's still looking good. We did win both games of the home and home with the St. Louis Blues. 8-3 win. And then Quentin Hughes goes down until the end of the month with a sore knee. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Quentin Hughes is more of an offensive defenseman, so I guess the natural replacement would be Simon Bork. Same story with Simon Bork. If we can't keep him, I'd, of course, rather lose him than Girard. So we will call up Simon Bork. If we lose him, so be it. We do have players, down in the AHL that could replace him, and we'll get ice time now in the meantime. So we're just outright, actually, you know what, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have Bork replace Mete, and then Mete will take the lineup spot for Hughes. So Simon Bork is in, and now you see by default, Mete takes Hughes' spot there. So that's looking good. And down in the AHL, to avoid going best lines, let's see, we'll put in Numelin, the better overall out of these players. And we'll drop him all the way down to the 3rd pairing with Salo. So it's Brook. No, we'll go Jenks and Girard, Smith and Josh Burke. Extras, let's go shootout lineups, of course. Farabee, Girard, Benson, Carlson. So Oscar Mahler. We'll put him in there. And we should be good. So this is... It's concerning. We did win our first 4 games of the season, though, before finally losing our first game there to Anaheim on this Western road trip. We also lost to Edmonton. We're able to bounce back with a win over Ottawa, which is helpful. We'll probably lose to Calgary. That's just my guess. Quentin Hughes is back, so we are going to have to decide what to do with Simon Bork. I'll take a look at his trade value. I mean, the argument is, hey, at least get something for him. But I do feel as though there's a decent chance he could clear waivers, as we actually did beat the Calgary Flames 5-4. But we have to play the 10-0 Arizona Coyotes next, so that's a little bit concerning. Let me check Bork's trade value. We are currently in second place. We have 3 games at hand on both Tampa and Buffalo, and we're only a point back of Tampa, so we're off to a very good start. And Brendan Gallagher, 10 points in 8 games, so that's, again, what I was a little bit concerned about, is he is still doing extremely well. But if Simon Bork really isn't worth trading, I'm just going to try to send him down because he could be a great asset for this team moving forward. I'm not going to get anything for him, so I'm hoping he won't be claimed. We're going to send him down. If we lose him, so be it, but I'm not really missing out on anything in the long run by sending him down. So, Simon Bork, I hope you clear waivers, buddy. And you did, thankfully. Thankfully, Simon Bork will be sticking around. And again, we'll have to take out Numelin. Although I could take out Sala, but Numelin actually has the weaker potentials. So there we go. Bork is back in. He'll be working with Girard again. And there we go. Team's looking good. Still without Max Pacioretty, but for the most part, we are just about back to normal. Hopefully it can stay that way. The injury concerns are definitely there at this point. I just want to get through this next game against the undefeated Coyotes. Will they remain that way? They will not. We hand the Coyotes their first loss of the year, and that brings our record to 7-2 through the first month and the first 9 games of the season. A very small sample size, but we are on top of the Atlantic Division. So far, so good. Again, we have a long way to go, and I absolutely understand that. Alex Galchenyuk, he's back up to an 85. He has 9 points in 9 games, shooting 23%. 8 points in 9 games for Drouin, despite him being a minus player. Only 5 points for Jesse Puljujarvi. Of course, he had 71 points in 82 games last year, so a bit of a slow start for him, but not terrible. Josh Norris, 9 points in 9 games. I told you guys. I mean, I knew we had to have him on the second line. You know, you look at the attributes, he is too good for the third line. It's only that physical category as to why he's not an 85 overall player right now. Brendan Gallagher, 11 points so far. Incredible start for him. 9 points for Kasperi Kapanen, despite him supposed to be a sniper. He's clearly more of a playmaker. 8 points for Michael Frolik. Again, I couldn't bury him on the fourth line. 8 points for Philip Deneau. My favorite, my hero for this series. McCarron, however, is still scoreless. 4 points for Chris Tierney, 3 points for Shore, and 2 points so far for Morgan Geekie. You could argue maybe giving him a chance in the meantime, but Max Pacioretty will be back soon. He had 2 points in 3 games. We'll take a look at the defense so far. Darnell Nurse with 5 points, 7 points for Dumba. Again, Nurse and Dumba, they've been a great pairing. And we had to keep them we had to keep them together. 5 points for Quentin Hughes, the 1 goal for Noah Juleson. Of course, our shutdown defenseman. He is the man on this team. And then Victor Mete with 4 points, 7 points for Kevin Shattenkirk, the goaltender, of course, Carey Price. We have the record we have despite Carey Price struggling. Imagine if Carey Price gets his game going. Now, I know it is concerning to see Carey Price struggling. McNiven hasn't played a game yet. Beyond concerning to see Carey Price struggling. However, I don't know if you guys can hear the rain. I'd be shocked if you couldn't with how sensitive this mic is, but still, goddamn. If Carey Price can get his game going and if our offense can continue to contribute like this, we are going to be a force. But odds are the offense will start to dip, and that's when we're going to need Carey to step up. We are going to sim 2 more weeks here, and we'll see what happens over the course of these 2 weeks. We beat the Philadelphia Flyers 2-1 before losing 6-2 to Anaheim, a 3-0 shutout win over the New York Islanders. That's always a good sight. We'll scout goaltenders for 2 weeks. Of course, I normally don't scout goaltenders, but it's worth it at this point. 2 consecutive victories. Can we make it 3? Well, actually, it's technically 4. Wow! What a stretch of games for the Habs. 6-1. I was thinking, like, oh, okay, we beat the Islanders. Okay, Chicago, Carolina. When are we going to lose? Back-to-back wins, the home and home against the Florida Panthers. And we have a 13-3 record so far this season. Holy hell. When is Pacioretty supposed to be back? Because that's kind of what I'm waiting for right now. I think that might be our stopping point as we're, at the half-hour mark of this episode. Is Patches back? There we go. That's what I was waiting for. So let's take a look here at some stats, shall we? Another quick update. Through 16 games, we have a 13-3 record. Again, we're 3 points clear of Florida, and we still have 3 games at hand. We're 4 points clear of Buffalo and 6 points clear of Toronto. Of course, we still have a long way to go. We're only 16 games in, but what a promising start for this team. And again, with Pacioretty coming back, I mean, I don't know. Morgan Geekie does have 4 points. McCarron with only 1, but I think I prefer to have McCarron on this team. Geekie's better defensively and is a better physical player, but Geekie's a better skater and defensive player. McCarron's more physical. But I want to take a look here. So through 16 games, 12 points for Galchenyuk. That's not bad, of course. Jonathan Drouin doing well with 14 points. Still a minus player, but not too bad. 10 points for Puljujarvi. That's not bad. Again, I don't expect as much offense out of him, which is why I was surprised he did as well as he did last season. Josh Norris, 12 points in 16 games. Extremely happy with that. Gallagher leading the team, 17 points in 16 games. And I'm supposed to drop him back down to the third line, apparently, which is a scary thought. 15 points for Kasperi Kapanen. Frolik, in fairness, 11 points. I couldn't justify putting him on the fourth line. He had 41 points last year, and he is well on his way to doing that yet again. 10 points for Philip Deneau, of course, the 1 point for McCarron, 6 for Tierney, 5 for Shore, and then the 4 points for Morgan Geekie, which, I don't know. What do we do? Do we stick with McCarron? Do we give Geekie a chance? I don't know. Defensively, Darnell Nurse with 8 points. He's a +4. 12 points for Matt Dumba. He is a +5. 8 points so far this season for Quentin Hughes. 3 for Juleson. And the third pairing of Victor Mete with 5 points. And 11 points so far for Kevin Shattenkirk. The big question right now is Carey Price, who is still struggling. Despite having a .906 save percentage, he has 12 wins in 15 appearances. And in fairness, Michael McNiven really hasn't done that well. So our goaltending is struggling so far this season. Yet here we are through 16 games with a 13-3 record. So the big question right now is, I guess, do we send down Morgan Geekie and or do we trade him? And then, of course, having to put Gallagher back down on the third line kind of sucks. He'll still have the power play time, but I don't really think we can trade Galchenyuk right now because of how well this is going. My question is, what is Geekie's value and whether or not I think he'll clear waivers? And we might as well try to keep him. If we lose him, we're missing out on like a 6th round pick. So I might as well just try to send him down. It could piss him off, but he's a great first call-up option for this team. So we have a lot of decent depth players down in the AHL, but most of them have really poor trade values, which is kind of good news for us, really. I want to take a look. I didn't want to advance day, but that's okay. We'll get to the 17th as we're prepared to play Vegas. I wanted to look at the team stats around the league. It's incredible that we've done as well as we have, despite Carey Price struggling. We are tied. We actually flat out have the second best record in the league so far this season. We are only one of 2 teams to beat the Arizona Coyotes. We'll look at their team in a moment. But goals for per game, we are currently we have the league's best offense right now. We can't get rid of Galchenyuk. And it was definitely the right idea to send Melker Karlsson down. Wow, we have the league's best offense right now. That is incredible. And then goals against per game, we have goals against per game is actually a little bit higher than I would have thought. We're a middle-of-the-road team, 2.75. So again, imagine if our goaltending was where it should be. We'd be where the Arizona Coyotes are. No doubt in my mind. The power play. The power play is near the top of the league. Just outside of the top 10. Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8. The 11th best power play in the league. If I'm so tired right now. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, 12th, maybe. Jesus, I can't. This is pissing me off. I have to do this. I'm too tired. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th. Jesus. My eyes are playing tricks on me. You don't believe me that it's late? It is 5:57 in the morning because I'm a psychopath. 22.9% on the power play. Very happy about that. RPK is at 90%. 4 goals against in 40 attempts. But yeah, it's not worth having the bottom 6 that we have right now. No, not at all. I'm happy because everything is working out the way I hoped it would so far. This team is performing well, and it's one of those episodes that honestly makes me a little bit nervous to stop simming. Because I'm concerned that when we continue, things could start to go very, very poorly for us. So for that reason, and because we haven't had an episode in a few days, let's go a little bit further until our luck starts to change. The question is, will we lose Morgan Geekie? We will not. He cleared waivers. Beautiful. That is extremely helpful for the cause, obviously. Let's go best lines. Pacioretty, Jerome, Puljujarvi. Gallagher will be back on the third line, but again, we are going to set up the power play units in its ideal way. So again, for God knows how many times now in this episode, let's set up the power play. So again, it is going to be Shattenkirk. We'll take Dumba and Nurse out. So let's bring in Quentin Hughes, and Dumba will sit for Gallagher. To be honest, I'm going to have Puljujarvi on the point instead of Gallagher. He has a better shot. He does have a better shot, a bit better skater, a bit better defensively. So I feel like that's a better decision. We'll keep that power. Well, actually, no, we'll change up this too. So we'll take Dumba. Actually, no, wait, Dumba can stay this time. And he'll be with Mete on the second unit. The penalty kill. So right now it's Shore, Gallagher, Deneau, Tierney. I mean, 3 out of 4 players are in the bottom 6. Just saying. Just saying. It's looking pretty damn good. We are going to take Shattenkirk out. And we'll go with Quentin Hughes. And from there, we're looking good. We just need to get Morgan Geekie back into the lineup. And we'll do so in exchange for Oscar Mahler. Geekie didn't make it. Did it not say someone was happy that Geekie joined the team? Geekie didn't make it. That's the risk we took. That is the risk we took, but I could have sworn it said someone was happy that he joined the team. I'm intrigued to see who claimed him. I'm obviously disappointed because he was doing relatively well. But, yeah, I thought he'd make it. I could have sworn somebody said. Yeah, Sam Girard, happy that Morgan Geekie joined the team, yet waiver claims Ottawa took him. So, EA, you want to explain that one? That's a little bit weird. The Ottawa Senators claim Morgan Geekie. That won't come back to haunt us. That won't come back to haunt us at all. Anyway, we have our lineup set. Let's sim until our luck starts to turn. How about that? So let's sim until December 1st. 5-1 win over Vegas. And Puljujarvi goes down to a concussion until January 24th. Good God. We are being hit by the injury bug hard at this point. And when you talk about who we could call up, I mean, I could call up Melker Karlsson, but I mean, I think the obvious choice would be to bump up Gallagher, which means, yeah, Melker Karlsson for the bottom 6. I was thinking maybe Farabee on the top lines, but no. So yeah, we'll call up Melker Karlsson. This is why we kept Melker Karlsson. We might not have the opportunity to send him back down to Laval later on. But yeah, we absolutely need to fix this. And you know what? I'm actually going to put Gallagher on the top line. And we're going to go Galchenyuk, Norris, Kapanen. Third line is Frolik, Deneau, Carlson. And yeah, there we go. We're looking good. We're looking good. So Melker Karlsson is back. We're going to give Gallagher the chance on that top pairing. Again, we have to set this up. That is a fairly devastating injury, I have to admit. Oh, so let's see here again. Just let me get this set up. That does mean that Matt Dumba will return to the power play. He'll be with Victor Mete. On the second unit, we'll have Quentin Hughes with Kevin Shattenkirk. Again, power play is good. The PK, I just need to sort this out really quick. We'll take out Shattenkirk for Hughes to get him that extra bit of ice time. And it actually does take Gallagher off of the PK unit right now, but I'm okay with that. I'm not completely against that. I mean, the PK unit should still do well regardless. But yeah, losing Jesse Puljujärvi certainly hurts. And this is where it would be nice to have Morgan Geekie to step in and be a replacement. But instead, Tim Bolig will get back into the lineup. And this also means we're probably going to bump up Oscar Mahler again. And we're going to have to change the old... Actually, 3-on-3. I'm shocked. So, Gerard, Bork, Jenks. I'll put in a defenseman. We'll put in Ty Smith. There we go. We're good. All right, so we did win that game. A bit of a devastating injury. We lose to Arizona in the rematch. We have a shootout loss to the Calgary Flames. If we lose this next game, we will we'll call it at that point. Let's go 5 weeks for forwards. We're going to primarily focus on the CHL this year anyway. Can we beat Pittsburgh? Let's find out. Josh Norris is down to a concussion. Oh my God. Holy shit, guys. I don't know what to make of this. This will be Joel Farabee getting a chance now. This is devastating at this point. Oh my God. Maybe I should end it. This is a sign from the EA gods to just run. Run while you still can. Holy shit. All right. Well, I'm going to have to change Galchenyuk back down to a center. He, again, is having issues at the moment. So I'm going to have to change Galchenyuk back to a center really quick. We will edit the lines here. I don't know who the hell we're going to put in the lineup at this point. Scratch players. Who's getting the chance? Tamarnis or Semin or Emery, for that matter. And, whoa, that's a nice glitch. Okay, Semin's a low elite. All right, so Semin gets into the lineup. He's at least a lefty, so that's nice. And we'll drop him down to the fourth line. As well, we're going to have to fix the 3-on-3 lines again. So Gerard, Bork, Smith, Jenks. So Josh Brook can be put into that lineup. So let me go quickly. Put Galchenyuk. We did beat Pittsburgh 3-2 in the shootout, so we at least have a point streak going. Well, 2 games, and 2 points in 2 games. We're still in first place in the division, which is kind of a miracle at this point, considering some of the injuries we have already dealt with this season. My God. So in the meantime, just for the sake of making it easier with best lines, we're going to change Galchenyuk back to a center. And then that way it kind of sets up the power play a little bit better. Not that he's the best center. He only has 70 faceoffs. But Joel Farabee is going right to the second line. And Josh Norris is going to have himself a decent little opportunity here, I do believe. So let's go ahead and see what this team is going to look like. Again, the AHL is good to go. So let's go best lines. Actually, no, it is Josh Norris who got hurt. Never mind. I meant Farabee to begin with. So yeah, it'll be Pacioretty, Drouin, Gallagher, Farabee, Galchenyuk, Kapanen, Frolik, Deneau, Karlsson, Tierney, Shore, and McCarron. And again, we have to set up the defensive pairings the way I want them to. But that's why we have injuries on, man. It's kind of a pain in the ass at times, but it can also provide that little bit of extra drama. And you look at the offensive stats for Joel Farabee, I really don't think he's going to do that poorly. He had 19 points in 22 games down in the AHL. I didn't mean to hit that button. We'll go special teams. And it does say to give Frolik the chance, but that's not what we're going to do. We're going to put Farabee on the second power play unit. He is getting the chance. He is flat out on this, he's on this team. We are putting him in that role. It's that, old school, like Mike Babcock style where, you don't call somebody up. Like, you don't call up a Joel Farabee to play fourth line minutes. You call up a Joel Farabee who was playing, the offensive role in the AHL. You call him up, and he's going to play the offensive role at the NHL level. And thankfully, we have the ability to do that with Farabee. Now, again, if we start to kind of decline a bit, we'll stop it. But even then, if we get another injury, we're going to have to call it. We're just going to have to, out of necessity. We beat the Devils 5-2. Our record's now 16-4-1. We'll play the Vancouver Canucks in our last game of November, and we do end the month on a 5-3 defeat. But you know what? I think we're going to call it here. It is December 1st, 2 months into the season, and the Habs have a shocking 16-5-1 record. We made some interesting changes. We changed up that defense. We got rid of Jake Gardiner and Ryan Ellis. But the changes we've made have worked out so far. The question right now is injuries, and we're going to take one more look at the team stats, at the team and player stats, actually. So let's go ahead and do that. We are currently in second place in our division, but we might as well be in first. We have 4 games at hand on the Florida Panthers, and we're only 2 points back. 3 games at hand on Tampa, and we're a point above them. So schedule-wise, we're looking good. We have the same amount of games played as Buffalo, 6 points clear. So that is pretty damn good. Let's take a look here. But just alone, we are currently in 6th. We have the second highest point percentage, tied with Pittsburgh, actually, who we just beat. 75% point percentage right now, 92%, 22-1-2 for Arizona. I promise we're going to look at them here in a minute. Goals for per game, we have fallen down to 3rd in the league. Still, though, we have the league's 3rd best offense, and our goals against is a 2.73. So middle of the road, mid-table there. But, it could be worse, certainly. Our power play percentage is at 25%. So we have a top 10 power play. And our penalty kill percentage has dropped down to 87. But still, we are tied for the 2nd best PK in the league. I cannot complain. This has been a great start to the season, especially, too, with the revolving door of players we've had so far this season due to injury. I want to take a look at Arizona, and then we'll break down what our team is looking like. So the Coyotes that are absolutely dominating. Let's see the forwards. Derek Stepan has 27 points in 25 games. He's up to an 89 overall somehow. Clayton Keller's an 89 overall as well. 24 points in 25 games, 16 goals. And then Patrick Hornqvist, 23 points in 25 games. All right, I could actually here. You know what? Let's just go look at the view lines category. Let's do that, or the that option. And then we'll do the same for our team. And then we'll look to call it for now that we're 2 months in. I'm glad we simmed that little bit extra, though. I feel like somewhat of a marathon episode kind of makes up for the lack of uploads with the schedule. But the top line right now is Clayton Keller, who is just tearing it up with Dylan Strome. Strome isn't even, it's not even Stepan who's their top line center. It's Dylan Strome. And you also have Brendan Perlini there, who only has 8 points. But my God, this team. Max Domi with 15 points. Of course, then you have Stepan and Hornqvist, who we know are doing well. Third line is Christian Dvorak with Brock Riopel, former number 2 overall pick in 2020, and Christian Fisher. The fourth line, Lawson Krause with Antoine Roussel and Anthony Duclair. So, I don't know what's gotten into the water in Arizona, but they are an incredible team. On defense, you have Jacob Chikrin, 9 points, 87 overall, with Darren Tamora, who was a 4th overall pick in 2019. So the draft picks developing has certainly helped out this team. They have Urho Vakanainen, 15 points and 82 overall. Sammy Vatanen is there as well. And then Joel Edmondson with Andre Schuster. Case in point, they have a decent team. Should they be as good as they are, especially when you look at their goaltending tandem? Probably not. But the sim engine does what it wants. Grubauer with a 929 save percentage. Igor Shesterkin with a 931. Xavier Ouellet, Kyle Capobianco, and Tyler Wotherspoon are their healthy scratches. So there you go. That's what the best team in the league looks like at the moment. We'll get one final look at our team as we wrap this episode up. Again, we have Max Pacioretty currently on 8 points in 9 games. So he's missed a decent portion of the season already, which really, if you look over the years, he hasn't missed games. I mean, throughout this series, we started back here in 2017-18, he had only missed 2 games prior. Suffered a pretty big injury so far this season, but he's bounced back really well. Jonathan Drouin with 21 points in 22 games. I'm so happy that he's doing this well this season. And then Brendan Gallagher, point-a-game player, 22 points in 22 games, despite the fact that he's been on the first, second, and third line this season. Joel Farabee so far, 2 games, 1 point, but he has his first career NHL goal. He's right now centered by Alex Galchenyuk, who is at 19 points, despite still having the lower overall, and Kasperi Kapanen has 20 points as well so far this year. But case in point, I feel like the bottom 6 has contributed. Michael Frolik is evidence of that. He has 13 points in 22 games, certainly on pace to hit 30, perhaps on pace to hit 40 yet again. Centered by Philip Deneau, 7 goals, 5 assists. He had the career high in real life of 40 points. He's hit 39 points twice. And if you look, every year he's hit at least 30 points. He's going to do so again this year. I love him as our third-line center. I absolutely love him. He is the perfect third-line center for any team, and he's having a great season so far. Melker Karlsson, no points in 4 games, a -3, a bit of a disappointment, but I don't expect much offense out of him, admittedly. But he does appear to have slowed down that third line, but, I mean, no surprise, right? I mean, compared to who was on that line before. The fourth line, 7 points for Chris Tierney, 6 points for Nick Shore, 2 points for Mike McCarron. I'm still all right with that. I really don't expect much in terms of points from Mike McCarron, I got to be honest. On defense, Darnell Nurse with 10 points, he is a +9. Matt Dumba with 15 points, he is a +7. Second pairing, Quentin Hughes with 10 points, or 12 points, I should say, in 19 games. He has 10 assists. Noah Juleson with 3 points, he is a +6. Victor Mete still with 5 points. Kevin Shattenkirk with 13. Yet again, we have to ask ourselves, how is Carey Price doing? And he has started to bounce back a little bit. He's up to a .913 save percentage. Michael McNiven is really struggling so far. We'll have to keep our eyes out on that. And of course, right now, the current injuries to Norris, who had 13 points in 20 games. Jesse Puljujarvi with 11 points in 18 games. So once again, I've sat here and just gushed about this team for nearly an hour now. You know how I feel about this team. So far, so good from this team this season. Just wanted to quickly take a look at some of the point totals. That top line was doing pretty damn well. Preston Garlock has 6 points so far this year. I mean, it's been inconsistent so far for the AHL team as well. Girard is absolutely killing it. But so far, so good. And I am absolutely excited to see what happens in the next episode, as if this episode itself didn't have enough curveballs of its own. So guys, that will do it for this one. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, of course, any support on the video would be appreciated. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Links are in the description to my Twitter and Twitch. We passed 5K follows on Twitch. Hell of a milestone for 4 months worth of effort. You guys have been absolutely ridiculous as of late with the support on both the YouTube and Twitch side of things. And again, I'm not deserving of that support. I don't get it. To me, it's still... And again, it's not like I'm sitting here with 1 million subscribers or whatever, but, we passed the whole 2 years of doing this past September. Didn't think I'd still be doing this. And it's pretty damn cool to have the level of support that I have, and I'm more than grateful for it, so I'm not going to sit here and get all mushy about it. Thank you. I appreciate the support. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I will see you in the next one, where yet again this team will let me down and just smash my hopes and dreams into 1,000 pieces. I'm looking forward to it.